Welcome to NACTV Reads the Banner. My name is Kathy Jasnick, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. You may be joining us online, Neepawa Access Live at WCG 12, Channel 30 Direct Sightline, MTS or Bell Express View. These broadcasts are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, and donations by viewers like yourself. If you enjoy what you see and hear, please consider supporting us by a donation or by volunteering. Contact our office at 204-476-2639 or NACTV at wcgwave.ca. And today I am reading the banner dated Friday, April the 7th, and the front page shows us the ice slowly melting at Minnedosa Lake. Looks like it has a little ways to go yet, but with the warm weather, it most likely won't take long. And something could be cooking in area community kitchens. For food entrepreneurs looking to bring their products to market, access to an inspected commercial kitchen is necessary. With a few exceptions, Manitoba Health requires that all food products sold in the province be prepared in a kitchen that holds a food service establishment permit issued by Manitoba Health, which is an expensive undertaking for someone just getting started in the industry. One of the solutions is for food entrepreneurs to rent space in existing commercial kitchens. Organized by Neepawa's Economic Development Office, last month, Jane Jalgard of Manitoba Agriculture's Food and Agri-Processing Branch spoke to a group in Neepawa about the province's list of community kitchens available for rent. Located in halls, churches, and rinks, Jalgard explained that there are many inspected commercial kitchens that could be available for rent. The 8 or so attendees at the Neepawa meeting included both kitchen owners and potential renters. Jalgard also spoke about the province's rules for food sold at farmers markets, which are seen as venue to help food entrepreneurs test the waters with their products. At farmers markets, vendors are allowed to sell products that haven't been made in an approved kitchen, provided that they don't contain any potential hazardous foods. Manitoba Health inspectors consider potentially hazardous foods to include meat or meat products, poultry or poultry products, milk or milk products, or any food with these products as ingredients. This means that products such as homemade pierogies, cabbage rolls, sandwiches, and cream-filled pastries can only be sold if they've been made, packaged, and labeled by an approved establishment. If food entrepreneurs want to sell in any other venue, their food must be prepared in an approved kitchen. The province's commercial kitchens for rent listing has been in operation for 15 months, and to date, 30 kitchens have signed up, none of which are in the Neepawa area. The listing also includes pictures of the kitchens and their equipment. Jalgard explained that there is no cost beyond the list and to be included. Kitchens must have a current permit from Manitoba Health and must be willing to rent to food entrepreneurs. Facilities making themselves available for rent must let Manitoba Health know, and any renters must also have a permit from Manitoba Health, which is available at no charge. Kitchens on the list are responsible for setting their own rates and schedules. Jalgard said that some kitchens charge a flat rate, while others have a base rate, and then add charges depending on what the renter needs to use, such as ovens, fridges, or mixers. In addition to another revenue stream, kitchens which are available for rent also have access to funding for equipment upgrades. Jalgard talked about their funding program in its 3rd year, which offers grants to help purchase equipment specifically for rentals, as opposed to catering. This program is available to not-for-profit kitchen owners and has helped facilities purchase commercial-grade stoves, freezers and fridges, 20-quart mixers, piston fillers, and dough sheeters. And they have several photos on the top left. It shows Jane Gelgard, who is the business development specialist, small food processing with Manitoba Agriculture, speaking at Arts Forward about the establishment of commercial kitchens for rent. And a photo showing push pins marking the locations of community kitchens that are available for rent to food entrepreneurs. And there doesn't seem to be really any right in this area. And language classes end with a meal. Members of the conversational Filipino class prepared spring rolls at Arts Forward on Thursday, March the 30th. Pancit bihon, a delicious noodle dish, was also prepared during the evening. The culinary event was organized by teacher Mila Ignacio to celebrate the conclusion of the first language course in Tagalog, which began in January. The next class is planned for Thursday, April 13th at Arts Forward. And pictured in the photo are Muriel Gami at the front, Mila Ignacio, and Margaret Drinkwater. That would have been a fun thing to have taken. And it's also a very handy thing in the community at the moment. And editor Kate Jackman Atkinson's My Perspective column is entitled Time, Money, Little Change. The issue of access to health care has been in the news a lot lately, both locally and internationally. It's not surprising. Health is one of the areas of government that has the biggest impact on our lives, and it's also the area in which we spend the most. In Gladstone, residents are concerned about access to medical services. With one vacant nurse practitioner position, another set to be vacant this month, and the recent retirement of one of their two physicians, the health authority has already begun recruiting for the nurse practitioner positions, and an international medical graduate is expected to begin working in the community late this summer. But for now, the community will face a crunch. For how long isn't yet known. They aren't alone. Hospital closures, reduced service levels, and having to go out of town to access medical services, both routine and emergency, are common in many rural communities. At the end of last year, Statistics Canada released the results of a study about Canadians' access to health care between 2003 and 2013. The study found that in 2013, 71% of Canadians 15 years of age and older found no difficulty accessing health care when they needed it in 2013. There has been little change in this statistic since 2003. For the almost 30% of Canadians who reported difficulty getting the care they needed, waiting too long for an appointment and difficulty getting an appointment were the most common problems reported. The study was broken down into 6 categories of care: specialist care, non-emergency surgery, selected diagnostic tests, health information or advice, routine care, and immediate care. The bad news is that despite a decade and increased health funding, few of these areas have seen a marked decrease in the number of people reporting difficulty accessing health care. The only area to make noticeable improvement was access to selected diagnostic tests. Access to specialist care, intermediate care, and non-emergency surgery bounced around a little within the decade, but ended up only slightly improved by 2013. Access to routine care ended up slightly worse after a decade. Surprisingly, Access to health information or advice also ended up worse after 10 years. Given the proliferation of medical information online and over the phone, I find this statistic particularly interesting. Obtaining health care in a timely manner is important, and as the study notes, difficulty accessing services can result in higher costs, both physical and financial. Difficulty getting an appointment was a common reason Canadians experienced difficulty accessing both specialized and first contact healthcare services, and for many, this is related to physician availability. While the number of physicians in Canada is continually increasing, many Canadians still don't have a family physician. In 2014, the physician-to-population ratio reached its highest ever, 224 physicians per 100,000 people. Yet that same year, about 15% of Canadians reported that they did not have a regular medical doctor. This is likely due to the fact that only half, 51%, of Canada's physicians are family doctors. So what's the solution? In many communities, like Gladstone, nurse practitioners play an important role. They are registered nurses with additional training and the ability to diagnose common medical conditions and chronic diseases. They are part nurse, part family physician, and can perform tasks such as prescribing medications, performing minor invasive procedures such as suturing minor wounds, conducting examinations, and ordering diagnostic tests. In an environment where physician vacancies are common, nurse practitioners play an important role delivering health care. It's hard to know what the future of healthcare in Manitoba and Canada will look like over the next decade. But for those whose health is compromised by a lack of timely access to care, something has to change. Excuse me. In Rita Friesen's Homebodies column, entitled A Perfect Spring Day, it was all that the long gray winter had promised. Spring did arrive. There was a day this week that was totally free, no commitments. I stopped by one of the local coffee shops and assured everyone that I still inhabited the land of the living. It was good to catch up with the crew. Headed over to the grocery store, saw something I liked, and planned a shared supper. It is good for me to plan a meal and enjoy my grandchildren's company as we devour the repast. There were outside things I had been itching to do. So, right after walking the dogs, I got to work. Strapped the outside corners of the raised garden bed set up in the backyard. Got to use a power tool. Washed a couple of windows and got the screens on. But the siren song of spring called me back outside. Rummaging through the garage, I came across the birdhouses I had brought into town. The perfect day to set them up. A happy hour puttering, repairing, and mounting the birdhouses was most satisfying. Looking around the back patio, I decided where I wanted a clothesline. Fortunately, my trusted handyman showed up to handle a minor repair, and I handed off the clothesline task to him. But now I needed to rearrange the back area. Dragged the water feature to the opposite corner of the space, hauled out the patio furniture, and staged the set. Realized that one of the projects, a cushion for the bench, had not been completed last fall. No time like now, so I returned to the confines of the house, and 3 seams later had the cushion covered. 20 minutes, tops. Not certain why I didn't just do it last summer. Another walk with the dogs, and still time to spare. Moved the solar lights from the north wall to the south wall. That took more time and energy than I expected. To staple them across the top of the arbor required a ladder and several trips up and down. Swept the area and the garage. Loved the big push broom. Supper was on time and appreciated. An old favorite, farmer's sausage and pierogies, your choice of sour cream or fried butter, vegetables, and fresh fruit for dessert. Simple but comforting. One more short walk with the dogs, simply enjoying the bird song and the warm breeze, dodging puddles, stopping to smell the world and loving life. I swear Henry Hoover and Miss Daisy walk a little taller and with a bit of a swagger every time we pass a fenced yard from which another issues a challenge. Slowed the day with a meeting, 1 hour long and very productive, and ended the day with a call to my sister. Just a perfect spring day. It always makes you look around you at the simple things in life and really appreciate them when you read that column. And there's an auctioneer competition coming to Gladstone with a photo showing the inside of the building in the auction mart in Gladstone. Some of the best auctioneers from across Manitoba and Saskatchewan will soon gather in Gladstone. The Gladstone Auction Mart has announced that it'll serve as the host location for the 2017 Manitoba-Saskatchewan Auctioneer Competition on Saturday, April the 29th. Some of the Prairie's finest auctioneers will compete for the championship and a spot in the Canadian Auctioneer Championships, set for May the 12th to the 14th in Lethbridge, Alberta. The Manitoba-Saskatchewan competition rotates between Manitoba and Saskatchewan every year. 2017 is Manitoba Livestock Marketing Association's turn to host. Gladstone Auction Mart was asked to host the auction mart, and since Gladstone has never hosted this competition before, we jumped at the opportunity. We are looking forward to a good, strong sale, fair competition, and some fun. 12 to 14 auctioneers from across the two provinces will gather April 29th to show off their auctioneering skills. Each auctioneer sells 10 to 12 groups of cattle along with a secret black box item, which have been graciously donated by local businesses. Judges will confer, and then the top 6 auctioneers will return to sell again in round 2. This competition is a regular cattle sale with an estimated 800 head. Due to this competition, there won't be a sale the following Tuesday, May the 2nd. Later that evening, an awards banquet will be held at the Gladstone District Community Centre, where the Rookie Buckle and Championship Buckle will be presented. The banquet is open to the public. Tickets are $25 each. They may be purchased at the Gladstone Auction Mart, and deadline for the tickets is April 15th. We invite everyone to come over to Gladstone, April 29th at 10 a.m. for some fast-talking fun. Don't forget your checkbook, as we have an excellent selection of black box items for sale. Then join us for a roast beef supper catered by Baldy's Bistro and the Green Warriors Environmental Group from William Wharton Collegiate Institute. And that does sound like a fun day. I don't know about most of you, but I think listening to auctioneers is one of life's great pleasures. They are just so good. And Pine Creek School Division hires a new superintendent. The Pine Creek School Division Board of Trustees is pleased to announce the appointment of the superintendent position to Mr. Bruce Lyons, effective July 1st, 2017. Lyons comes to our division after spending recent years as a consultant at the Department of Education in the Instruction, Curriculum, and Assessment branch, and more recently in the Student Achievement Support Unit. During a 36-year career in the field of education, Mr. Lyons has fulfilled principalships in Sioux Valley First Nations, Homefield Colony School, and Minto School. He also has 23 years of resource and regular classroom teaching experience. Mr. Lyons received his Master of Education degree at the Brandon University in 2007 and has since upgraded his school principal's certification to Level 2 and has obtained his Special Education and Special Education Coordinator certification. Mr. Lyons believes that student success in all aspects of their lives is enhanced through the development of their social, emotional skills set. His commitment to that belief has led him to become certified as an affiliate national trainer of the Lions Quest program, where he has conducted certification workshops for hundreds of teachers from all over the province, focusing on service learning. Mr. Lyons is well versed in the importance of technology throughout the education and looks forward to continuing with the Pine Creek School Division in these areas. Mr. Lyons has always been an active participant in community events with an extensive background in athletics, both playing and coaching, and looks forward to the possibilities during his time in the Pine Creek communities. Mr. Lyons will begin his work in Pine Creek School Division on May 1st, when he transitions here as the Assistant Superintendent to the end of June, prior to entering into his first 3-year contract with the division. Please join the Board of Trustees in welcoming Bruce and his wife Catherine to the Pine Creek School Division. And out of Helen's kitchen, and as Canada is celebrating its 150 years since Confederation, Helen is spending several months showcasing some historic recipes in Canada's honor. And this is titled Métis Recipes, Red River Bread and Hard Time Pudding. The Métis people helped to shape the Canada of today, mainly in terms of the expansion of the West. The word Métis is an old French word meaning mixed. It was used originally to describe the children of native women and European men. When the fur trade moved west in the 1700s and 1800s, many French-Canadian fur traders found native wives and had children. The children born from these unions formed a new nation in Canada, the Western Métis. They quickly became mediators between European and Indian cultures, working as guides and interpreters for the trading companies. With the decline and disappearance of the buffalo from the plains, the Métis were almost destroyed. They were the invisible, or the forgotten people, set apart from the two different parents that made their nation. Despite being materially poor, they were rich in the tradition of sharing food, music, dance, and stories. They were famous for their fiddle music and dancing. The traditional dance of the Métis people was a Red River jig. In a jig, the faster the fiddle music, the faster the dancer's feet had to move, as the dancer always followed the fiddle music. In 1982, Métis were included as Aboriginal people in the Canadian Constitution. In Manitoba, we celebrate Louis Riel Day to commemorate the life of Louis Riel, a politician who represented the Métis people's interests. Red River cereal is a Canadian classic. It originated in the Red River district of Winnipeg back in 1924 and is generally eaten as a cooked breakfast porridge. I encourage you to try these two Métis recipes and enjoy in sharing the end results, just as the Métis did. They are named in English as well as in the Michif language. On the first, the Red River bread, and the Michif language is shown afterwards, of which I cannot pronounce. 2 tablespoons of yeast, a half a cup warm water, 1 teaspoon sugar, 2 to 3 cups cooked Red River cereal, warm, 2 cups warm water, 1/4 cup shortening or butter, 1 tablespoon salt, 1 egg, 3 to 4 tablespoons molasses, 3 cups whole wheat bread flour, and 3 cups unbleached white bread flour, or more is needed. Proof the yeast in half a cup of warm water and sugar, Leave it to sit while you prepare the other ingredients. In a mixer, mix the Red River cereal, water, shortening, salt, egg, and molasses together. Add the yeast mixture. Add the whole wheat flour, and mix well. Add some of the white flour and mix for 8 to 9 minutes. Add as much white flour as you need. The dough should feel soft, but not sticky. Roll out on floured surface and knead for a few minutes. Shape into a ball and place into a well-greased bowl. Turn the dough after the surface is greased, until the surface is greased. Cover with a cloth. Place in a warm place. Cover and let rest until double in size, about 1 hour. Punch the dough down and cut into the size you need for your pans. Shape into loaves and place in greased bread pans. Let rise for about 1 hour or until doubled in size. Put in a preheated 350-degree oven for 30 to 35 minutes or until well browned. Remove loaves from pans and let cool. And hard time pudding. It sounds quite simple actually. 1 cup of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/2 cup brown sugar, 1/2 cup raisins, 1/2 cup milk, and the sauce is 1 cup of brown sugar, 3 cups hot water, 3 tablespoons butter, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. In a casserole dish or 9x9 cake pan, mix the first 6 ingredients. Leave the dough spread out in the pan. Mix the sauce ingredients and pour the sauce over. Bake at 350 for 30 to 35 minutes or until dough is cooked through. And there's a photo here from about 1872 showing Métis traders. Excuse me. And Tawn is crowned Cowgirl of the Year. Haley Tawn marked the end of the college rodeo season with a couple of big wins last weekend. The Plumas Area Cowgirl ended the Canadian Intercollegiate Rodeo Association season as goat tying leader, was the Canadian College Finals goat tying champion, and was also named Cowgirl of the Year. The Cowgirl of the Year award is voted on by all of the association's membership and recognizes leadership and sportsmanship throughout the season. Tawn has been competing in rodeos for 10 years and began competing in high school rodeos when she was 13. She's in her 3rd year as an animal science technology student at Lakeland College in Vermilion, Alberta. The college rodeo season begins in September, stops for the winter at the end of October, starts again at the end of February, and ends in March. This year, points were accumulated at 7 rodeos. The season ends with the CIRA finals held March 30th to April 1st at the Agrium Western Event Center in Calgary. Leading the goat tying event going into the finals, Tawn's success continued in the finals arena, where she won her first 2 rounds and finished second in the third. This strong performance netted her the finals goat tying championship. This is the most significant award Tawn has won to date, and she explains, "I was completely shocked when my name was announced as this year's recipient. I'm still beside myself that I was chosen as Cowgirl of the Year and extremely humbled about what all took place this past weekend." Then there's a photo at the top left of Tawn with her belt buckle that she was awarded. And right, there's sort of a close-up of her belt buckle, which I don't know how well you can see, but it is quite fancy, and it indicates the Canadian College Finals Rodeo 2017 champion goat tying. So that is excellent, and congratulations to her. And Oswald's chosen as Manitoba's Outstanding Young Farmers. Brent and Kirsty Oswald of Cottonwood Holsteins Limited were selected as Manitoba's Outstanding Young Farmers for 2017. They received their award on March 4th at the Elkhorn Resort in Onanol, Manitoba, with the Honorable Ralph Eichler, Minister of Agriculture, in attendance. Cottonwood Holsteins, based in Steinbach, is a mixed dairy and grain farm that was homesteaded by Brent's grandparents in the early 1930s. It continues to be a family operation as Brent's parents, who purchased the farm from their parents in 1968, pass it on to Brent and Kirsty. Brent's passion for farming that started at a young age is evident as you talk to him, says OYF Program Chair Luann Lin. He beams as he talks about his cows and their continued increasing performance. The technology that the Oswalds have incorporated into their dairy operation has allowed them to expand their herd. Comprehensive data records and maximizes the efficiency of their farm. At Cottonwood Holsteins, they milk 135 cows and grain farm just shy of 2,500 acres. The Oswalds always focus on getting better before getting bigger, which is why they are increasing their emphasis on investing in equipment to boost efficiencies. It's these advances and new benchmarks that we are achieving that keep my passion for farming burning strong, says Brent. I knew from a very young age that all I wanted to do was farm, and that's all I've ever done. I look forward to the rest of my career farming, enjoying it while raising my children in a lifestyle that is second to none. Celebrating 37 years, Canada's Outstanding Young Farmers Program is an annual competition to recognize farmers that exemplify excellence in their profession and promote the tremendous contribution of agriculture. Open to participants 18 to 39 years of age, making the majority of income from on-farm sources, participants are selected from 7 regions across Canada, with 2 national winners chosen each year. Canada's Outstanding Young Farmers for 2017 will be chosen at the national event in Penticton, BC from November the 29th to December the 3rd. And we have a few photographs from the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair. We have at the top left the single pony harness event staged at the Westman Place main arena. Bottom left, a heavy horse show entrant. And the top right, a contestant at the jumper class horse show. And I understand they had a very successful winter fair once again. We are going to go to the obituaries and then we'll come back to the sports. Just to make sure we get them all in. Excuse me. John Jack Honor. It is with great sadness that we announce the sudden passing of John Jack Edward Philip Honor on April 1st, 2017 in Winnipeg. He was 64 years old. John was born on November 18, 1952 in McCreary to Philip and Ellen Honor and grew up on a farm in Kelwood, Manitoba. John was a private in the Royal Canadian Regiment from 1972 to 1974. After his military service, he met and married Carol Daigle in 1978. He adopted her 2 daughters, Michelle and Vicky, and in 1983 his son Edward was born. John was divorced in 1993. John worked for many years in warehouse management until his recent retirement. During his brief retirement, John spent his time with family and friends doing the things he loved: camping, fishing, gardening, concerts, bingo, and taking care of his kitty. John was predeceased by his parents, Philip and Ellen Honor. He is survived by his children, Michelle Loftus, her husband Jack, and their son Daniel. Vicky Dick and her husband Ed, Jessica Anthony Kyla, and Edward Honor and his partner Krista. He is also survived by his siblings, Carol McEachen, her husband Murray, and their daughters Colleen and Sheena, Patricia Durisso and her daughters Kathleen and Rochelle, and Richard honor. There are many great-nephews and cousins also surviving. Winnipeg Memorial Service will be held on Friday, April 7th at 6:30 p.m. at Friends Funeral Service, Winnipeg. Kelwood Memorial Service will be held on Saturday, April the 8th, 2 p.m. at St. John's Anglican Church, Kelwood, with interment to follow in the Kelwood Cemetery. In lieu of flowers, we ask that you donate to the Heart and Stroke Foundation in his memory. Gwen Mary Hurt, organ, knee fligger. Gwen passed peacefully on Tuesday, March 21st, 2017 at Golden West Centennial Lodge. Gwen was born on August 27, 1934, the third child to Archie and Grace Fligger. She grew up in the Spring Hill District and completed her grade 12 at the Neepawa and Area Collegiate in 1952. She moved into Winnipeg to begin her secretarial career and started work at the Parliament Buildings in June of 1953. On the first day of work, she met a wonderful lady by the name of Joan Kerr, and this friendship has continued throughout the years. Gwen also enjoyed working in the lawyer's office in Selkirk for several years, and while there established a very special friendship with Shirley Edgington, another that would withstand the test of distance and time. During her career with the province, she also met the love of her life, Wilf Organ. They were married October 1st, 1966. She had the great joy of being a step-parent to his children, Darlene and David, whom she loved dearly and thought of as her own. She and Wilf enjoyed many happy years together, living in St. James and later retiring out to Petersfield in 1976. She and Wilf also enjoyed spending some of the winter in Florida. Wilf's death in December of 1986 was difficult for Gwen, and she missed him dearly. Gwen continued to spend some time in Florida, where she eventually met Mike Hurt, who she later married. She and Mike resided in Orlando, Florida, where Gwen worked part-time for a greeting card company and enjoyed being out on the golf course or out on their boat. With Gwen's diagnosis of Parkinson's and Mike's failing health, they made the move to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to be closer to his family. They were only there a short time when Mike passed away in May of 2010. In February of 2011, her niece Janice flew down to meet her and return with her to Winnipeg. When driving down Portage Avenue, Gwen said it was so wonderful to look out the window to see everything was familiar. She was so happy to be home and to move into Sturgeon Creek Assisted Living. She was later moved to Oakview Place, then on to Golden West Lodge. Gwen won the hearts of all those who cared for her. She enjoyed and appreciated all the love, support, and friendship from the family at Golden West Lodge. Gwen thought of them as her family. She always looked forward to spending special time with her companion, Brenda Resnick. Gwen also enjoyed visits from her stepdaughter, Darlene, and family, Carol Carson, and dear friends Claire and Donna Bell, Shirley Edgington, and Joan Kerr. Gwen was also reunited with her childhood friend, Norma Cann, Nee Clark, from Spring Hill, while at Golden West. A huge blessing to Gwen. Gwen was predeceased by her parents, brother Jim Fligger and wife Norma, brother-in-law Roy North, nephew Ken North, husband Wilf Organ, step-son-in-law David Goodwillie, and husband Mike Hurt. Gwen is survived by sister Orlo North, John Kaharski, stepchildren Darlene Goodwillie and family, and David Organ, Kathy New. She will be greatly missed by cousins, nieces, nephews, and many dear friends. A private celebration of life will be held at a later date with interment at the Neepawa Cemetery with her husband Wilf. In lieu of flowers, please donate to a charity of your choice. Edna Judy Marie Davison, Nee Barclay, January 27, 1936 to March 25, 2017. It is with loving thoughts and heavy hearts that we announce the passing of our beloved mother, Edna Judy Marie Davison, on Saturday, March 25th, 2017, at the age of 81. Judy was born on January 27, 1936, and was the second of 4 daughters to John Morris and May Alvina. John Barclay promptly registered his new daughter's name as Edna Marie, not quite what Mother May had in mind, and May declared that their new daughter would always be called Judy. Thus began the lifelong journey of Edna Marie and Judy, one and the same, our beloved mother. The Barclay family lived in the Wolfley district near Sewers, where Judy attended Wolfley School as a young girl, followed by her graduation from Sewers Collegiate Institute. After school, Judy worked as a telephone operator at Sewers' telephone office, and she would fondly reminisce about the many lifelong friends made in those days. Judy met the love of her life, Gerald James Davison, and they were married July 5th, 1958, in Sewers. They started a young family in Sewers, followed by a move to the town of Rapid City. Judy was a very busy mother, taking kids to swimming lessons, Sunday school, and skating. As a young mom in a new community, Judy was taken under the wing of the Mary and Cyril Martin family, forming a special bond and fond memories important to Mom the rest of her life. Judy and Gerald purchased a farm near Rapid City, where they worked together and happily raised their family of 5. She was busy gardening, canning, delivering farm meals, and also worked at the Rapid City telephone office. If Mom started the morning baking a chocolate cake and boiling eggs and potatoes for salad, we knew we were going on a picnic at the lake, which was one of Mom's favorite outings. When she had a spare moment, Mom would be curled up with a book or crossword puzzle. She grew to have many interests and loved camping and playing cards. After selling the farm, the family returned to Sewers, and Judy returned to work at the Sewers telephone office. Their travels following work took the family to Saskatchewan, Kindersley, Rostern, and then to Saskatoon. In these communities, Judy worked at farm implement dealerships as a parts technician, as it was evident she was gifted with numbers, cataloging, inventorying, and organizing. In Saskatoon, she took these skills to work at Davies Electric. Eventually, the family returned to Manitoba and purchased a farm at Wellwood. Our hard-working mom finally retired on her 65th birthday from Wheat Belt Equipment in Brandon. On her career path, Judy developed friendships that were maintained until the end. Mom was very proud of her Winter Clan family heritage and was very involved with the family reunion planning. She kept in contact with her extended family of cousins and enjoyed their visits whenever she had an opportunity. To her Davison in-laws, she was fondly known as the baby, as the youngest of the group. She loved Davison get-togethers filled with laughter and music, where a certain nephew would always play Aunt Judy's favorite song of all time, Twilight Time. She danced this song with her handsome beau Gerald at her graduation. Judy lived the last 10 years in Regina and, as always, came to be loved and cherished by the new people who met her. She was enormously proud of and loved to see her growing family. Judy had a special connection with the young ones, all of whom cherished her. She loved the many trips back and forth to Manitoba, as she enjoyed seeing the countryside and changing seasons, especially during seeding and harvest. Judy was a kind, caring, and loving person, beautiful inside and out. Despite health issues in later years, she had a strength of character that kept her cheerful and positive without complaint. Judy was devoted to her family and had a determination and voracious appetite, it seemed, to read all books ever written. All who met her enjoyed her sense of humor, quick wit, her encyclopedic memory, and her pearls of wisdom. As an avid reader, Judy also never passed up a newspaper, crossword puzzle, or fashion magazine. She retained a wealth of knowledge and kept herself up to date about current affairs and the latest trends. She kept that mind sharp. Mom also wore a beautiful smile and taught all of us to always soldier on in the face of adversity. Even though she was petite, pacifist, and a diplomat, she was mighty and could move mountains with a blue-eyed glance. Mom will be forever in our hearts and on our minds. Judy was predeceased by her husband, Gerald James Davison, her parents, John Morris and May Alvina Barclay, nee Cruikshank, sisters Donna Davison, Keith, sister Marilyn Alberts, Bob, sister Gloria Niconachi, Tom, brothers-in-law Jack and George Davison, Arthur Tully, Bob Alberts, and Tom Nicochany, sisters-in-law Verley and Frances Davison, granddaughter Amber Lynn McFarland, and nephews Randall, Keith Davison, and Christopher Nicochany. Judy is survived by daughter Lori McFarland, Scott, and their daughters Lisa and Ashley Hewins, and her son Christian Hewins. Son Kent, Carrie, and their children Pamela, Connor, and Grace. Son Murray and his children Leah and Curtis. Son Bradley, Jillian, and their sons Jonathan and Samuel. Daughter Leanna Pepler, Greg Engel, and their daughter Emily Pepler, and step-granddaughters Riley Wade Cummings, Richie, and Shelby. Brothers-in-law Bill and Keith Davison, sisters-in-law Lois Tully and Hazel Davison, as well as numerous nieces, nephews, and cousins. Judy was ready and prepared to leave this life and make her journey to heaven to meet the precious loved ones she missed so dearly. She is now with those she loved, awaiting those she loved. A celebration of Judy's life will be held at Spears Funeral Chapel, Regina, on Saturday, April 8th at 1 p.m. Interment will be held at a later date in the Souris Glenwood Cemetery in Souris. In lieu of flowers, donations in memory of Judy may be made to Cancer Care Manitoba of Winnipeg. And Lloyd Drayson, March the 14th, 1924 to March 15th, 2017. It is with sadness that we announce the passing of our beloved husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and brother-in-law, Lloyd. Lloyd was preceded by his brother, Ross Mildred, son Darrell, and granddaughter Heather Swain. Surviving is Lloyd's loving wife, Louise Pinette, of 70 years, daughter Sharon, Bill McLean, son Dwayne, Rosaline, grandson Derek, Sarah, great-granddaughter Lily, daughter-in-law Gloria, granddaughter Dallas, Justin Gogol, great-grandson Ryder, special sister-in-law Lucille Good, and his two nieces, Robin, Garth, and Leona. Lloyd was a very quiet man by nature and cared deeply for his family, always putting them first. In his early years, he was a grain manager with the Canadian Grain Commission in Winnipeg, and always well respected by his customers and co-workers. He was a Royal Canadian Legion and Elks Lodge member for many years. Dad was very clever with design and construction. He built a boat, house trailer, and many cabins that were moved to his favorite family retreat at Clear Lake, and we still enjoy the last cabin he designed. He enjoyed fishing, boating, curling, socializing with family, and dancing. We can never thank Dad enough for the guidance and fatherly love he provided, and we will always remember his cute little welcoming smile. Golden Door Geriatric Center has been Dad's home for the past 3 years. The family thanks Dr. Ross, the Golden Door staff, and members of Victoria General Hospital and Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service for the kind, gentle, and compassionate care they provided to Lloyd and the family. At Lloyd's request, there will be no service. Interment will take place at Riverside Cemetery in Neepawa at a later date. In lieu of flowers, a donation may be made in his memory to a charity of your choice. And those are the obituaries. Now we definitely have to take a look at this beautiful photo, which is a sure sign of spring in the crocus capital of Arden. The crocuses have begun to bloom in Arden. On Tuesday at about 8 p.m., the tallest were about 2 inches high. And it's always a sure sign, isn't it, that spring is here with crocuses. They're just synonymous. And the Worst Roads campaign hits halfway point, and local roads are in the running. Just 2 weeks into CAA Manitoba's annual search for the worst roads in our province, the top 10 list is split between rural and city streets. But with more roads nominated and more votes cast, it's clear Manitobans are eager to fight for their road to win top dishonor. By midway point of this campaign, we usually see 400 to 450 roads nominated, said Liz. She's the Community Relations Manager of CAA Manitoba. This year, we've already seen 5,000 votes cast on 527 roads around Manitoba. Clearly, more Manitobans are engaged in the discussion about the state of our roads. While Chevrier Boulevard and Empress Street and Fermor Avenue have always garnered a significant number of votes in Winnipeg, none have ever been on the top 10 list until now. New rural roads in the running are Dugald Road, which stretches from Winnipeg through Enola, Main Street South in Minnedosa, and Highway 20 north of Riding Mountain. Dugald is a busy commuter stretch for many people. This road is past due for a fix. If it doesn't take top dishonor in 2017, I'd expect to see it climb the ranks next year if it doesn't get repaired. Voting runs until April 17 at caaworstroads.com/Manitoba. Only one vote per road per day is permitted, but you can vote for as many roads as you like. Now, they list some rankings here, and number 2 in the ranking at this moment is number 353, which goes through Brookdale, and I'll certainly second that one. There is the Main Street South in Minnedosa, and Mountain Avenue in Neepawa is number 20. Mind you, I see they've been busy patching that, so that might not garner as many votes in the coming days. And in the Neepawa Banner Sports, there's a photograph here indicating that Emma Gerard, third from right, was one of the bowlers that represented Manitoba at the Canadian Youth Challenge Bowling Championships recently held in Ottawa. And it should also show that second from right was Gregory Yu, who also participated and is also from Neepawa. Neepawa's Emma Gerard has closed out a solid year of 5-pin bowling with an impressive performance at the national competition in Ottawa. Gerard was one of 6 members of Team Manitoba at the Canadian Youth Challenge Bowling Championship. The competition began with every province and the Northwest Territories playing one another during the round robin. Team Manitoba put in a valiant effort, but came out of that section of the week with a 0-10 record. Those results placed the province in the consolation bracket, where they ultimately finished in 6th spot. Gerard played in 8 of the 10 preliminary matchups, earning a pin average of 175.75 and a high score of 273. In her consolation round, she played 5 of 6 of the games and averaged a score of 168 with a high score of 235. As for top prize, the team from Alberta claimed victory by going 5-1 in the championship bracket. Quebec finished second, with Newfoundland and Labrador picking up 3rd place. The Canadian Youth Challenge Championship is a national event sanctioned by the Canadian 5-Pin Bowlers Association. And the other player that was inadvertently not mentioned, Gregory Yu, played 9 of the 10 preliminary matches, earning a pin average of 188.56 and a high score of 249. In the consolation round, he played 5 of the 6 games and averaged a score of 192.4 with a high of 240. So congratulations to both those players who well represented Manitoba in the Nationals. And the Neepawa Curling Club end results. It's come to an end. And its annual wind-up night and championship games were held Friday, March 31st. And in the top left corner, the ladies' club champions, sponsored by Neepawa Chiropractic, were Darla Hankey, Michelle Bryden, Chris Peterson, and Ashley Hankey, with missing from the picture Andrea Smith. On the top right, men's club champions, sponsored by Gill and Small Agencies, Kyle Savesco, Cody Jakubowski, Blair Steen, and missing from the picture, Ken Urquhart. And the ladies' A side bonspiel, sponsored by Dairy Queen, was Darla Hankey, Michelle Bryden, Chris Pedersen, and Ashley Hankey, and missing from the picture, Andrea Smith. And the men's A side bonspiel, sponsored by Harris Pharmacy, was won by Dave Soroka, Dave Sawchuk, Griffin Kaharski, and Kyle Kostanchuk. Neepawa B-side and mixed bonspiel. The ladies' B-side bonspiel, sponsored by Chicken Corral, was won by Kendall Kohinski, Tammy Dudenhofer, Susan Kohinski, Alana Ford. And the top right, men's B-side bonspiel, sponsored by Mardi Enterprises, Sean Boyle, Brent Boyle, Scott Newton, and Matt Lowry. And top left, the first event winners, sponsored by Neepawa Shop Easy, were skip Kevin Paramore, third Sheila Tanner, second Morgan Paramore, and lead Neil Turner. And the top right here, the winners of the second event, sponsored by RBC, skip Jeff Chupati, third Jody Chupati, second Brendan Chupati, and lead Nathan Chupati. The winners of the third event, which is, there's not a photo here, sponsored by Ag West Equipment, were Bryce Kwitowski, Jaslyn Enns, Carson Funnel, and Reg Kwitowski. Congratulations to all of them. And that was the end of the curling for this year. And I think we pretty well covered the banner this year. This week, a special note here that Dr. Greg Perkins is retiring, and he's been here in serving Manitoba here at Ballet Optical for 25 years, so we wish him all the best. And Dr. Derek Papagnes will be continuing his practice. And the Neepawa Chiropractic Center is welcoming Dr. Jill Kasich. She's a naturopathic doctor, and she will be working out of the Neepawa Chiropractic and Massage Center. She was trained as a primary care physician in Portland, Oregon, and is a board-certified licensed naturopathic doctor. During her medical training, she completed numerous specialties, including women's health, cardiopulmonary and environmental medicine, intravenous therapy, and transgender care. So those are two new people to our community, and I thank you very much, Dr. Perkins, for his service in the community, and I believe that is it for the Neepawa banner dated April the 7th. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.